Hey y'all, it's your girl D back with another video. This video is about basically trying to figure out why we are the way we are when we're seeking healing from trauma and mental health and all of that good stuff. So y'all, let's just get into the video. So this video comes as a result of a conversation I was having with another individual who was going through a mental health crisis and just came out of that crisis, and we began to talk about how this individual can heal and so that they can live with the mental illness but not be hindered by it. So I'm not a licensed healthcare professional. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not any of those things. I'm just giving the advice based off of my own life experiences, what I've witnessed, others go through throughout the years, and I'm just going from a place of sincerity and empathy and things like that, so that and honesty, a lot of times when you're going through a mental health crisis, people will say, well, especially with like a depression, people will say, well, things could be worse or something like that, or they can, say others have it worse than you and things that are not helpful. And this is what this individual was emphasizing, that when they were in their crisis, people kept bringing up past things that were said to them, and people were bringing up their past and, all those good things that don't really help you. As a result, I said, well, we can learn. We don't have to forget our past. They have the things in the past happen, obviously, and the things in the past affected us deeply on a traumatic level in many respects, right? So if we're thinking about, as a child, if you were abused or, things that we started to learn about, like the ACEs. I only learned about that because I took some social work classes. I'm not a social worker. As I said before, I'm not a licensed professional or anything, but learning about those childhood traumas and why as adults we figure out that we can't function efficiently or effectively in our lives. Myself, I went through a lot of identity crises where I couldn't figure out jobs. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, and I still can't figure that out, but y'all know what I mean. So our upbringing, our childhood experiences, our perceived childhood experiences as well affect us well into adulthood, to the point where we either thrive, survive, or fail at that point. But going back to the discussion though, the main point that was brought up when I was talking with this individual and we were kind of like kikiing and figuring out what was going on and, trying to give advice, was the main thing that's happening with therapists is that they're not digging deep enough, is what this individual was saying. And I agree. Some therapists only start from the surface level, which I get in a sense, because I want to gain, I want to trust you before I divulge, my past trauma, and see what kind of person you are before giving you that insight into my life. It's a vulnerable thing. Your past traumas are a vulnerability, and you're sharing this with somebody who may or may not respect your privacy. Even though people have HIPAA laws, these people, some of these people ain't respecting no privacy. So that's another thing. And you want somebody who's going to help you work through your past trauma and bring you to the present time, so that you have better coping skills. You understand why you are how you are and how to overcome that. And that was the main issue. And from personal experience, I remember a time when I was in a depression, going back to high school, right? And in high school, I was bullied relentlessly by this girl who was my neighbor, and she was just a horrible person. And I was nice to her and kind to her, but she's still, you know, when people are trying to get their up and up, you know, they try to bring somebody else down. And I'm like, yeah, that's how, you know, it's kid stuff. But I went through a major depression following that. And as a result, I had this feeling, and I'll never forget, I had a feeling of extreme heaviness, extreme fatigue, all the physical traits I had, like the hopelessness and things like that, where it was very extreme. And I've never in my life felt like that before. And till this day, no matter what I've gone through, I've never felt like that till this day. And I remember when I graduated from college, or graduated from high school and was going out to college, I tried to live in that identity. And I told the individual I was speaking to today that sometimes when we're in pain, we try to live in that place as our identity, right? So instead of trying to overcome the depression or trying to overcome the mental illness, well, we say, well, I am depressed, or I am, you know, I am bipolar, or I am schizophrenic, or whatever the case may be. And we try to live in that place because it's safe. You become that condition, and you base your life story about, you know, your life story around that. And I was just saying to, you know, this individual, I said, we know deep within us what traumas have affected us, whether or not we want to acknowledge. It's not an acknowledgement thing, I should say. It might be a subconscious thing, right? Because, you know, the mind is a crazy thing. It can push back, suppress negative emotions, memories, things like that. But in order to progress, we have to address those feelings. Myself personally, I was like, let me look up some shadow work type stuff and, you know, try to heal myself in that effect, because I feel like therapy is a good support, right? You know, when you have your therapist, you can talk to them about certain things, and you can, you know, allow them into your life. But at the end of the day, the real work comes from inside, and whether or not we want to admit that or whether or not we want to grow is up to us. Obviously, if you're a severe case of mental illness, do seek professional help. Do take your medication if you need medication. Do the things that help you become well. And I know myself, for a while, I didn't want to take medication for anything, like even for like a period cramp, nothing. So I completely understand. It's you know, sometimes we feel helpless in those situations, but the goal here is to have complete wellness in our bodies, our mind, so that we can thrive, right? If you're not ready to thrive and overcome, you're not going to do the work. And I told this individual, I said, you know, get you a therapist, get you a support group, get what you need to get. But at the end of the day, the inner work needs to be done in order for you to heal. And, you know, it's not a tough love thing, right? It's definitely it's not a tough love thing. It's just life. We have to take responsibility for the things that we know we can change, and take responsibility, well, not responsibility, but acknowledge the things that we know we can't change. And then we can start to thrive, you know. So I didn't want to make this too long of a video, but if you guys have experience with doing inner healing, inner work, healing from narcissistic abuse, or healing from any type of childhood trauma, y'all leave a comment. Sorry, my allergies, bro, y'all. Leave a comment down in below and let us know what you did to overcome. Are you seeking therapy? Are you working with a support group? What are y'all doing out here? And let's help each other grow and thrive and live our fullest lives. So I'm out, y'all. Peace, one love, bye.